Hello all. Today we're going to examine the Marx Prehistoric playset from 1971. That's the box. It's got a photo cover. Now this same playset is an updated version of the original one that came out in 1961. And it was also called the 3398. There are quite a few differences in the two. I'm going to show you all the different sides of the box first. Oh, come on. Wow. And there's the back. An unassembled toy. Well, it's a playset. That was the fun of having a playset. You could assemble it the way you wanted to. Of course, it was unassembled. Of course, you know, it had a mountain section and some palm trees and things that you had to put together a little bit, but there wasn't much assembly required. There it's 1971. And this one does not have Magic Marxy on the box. That was mostly a 60s thing, I guess. So, oh yeah, the inside of the box has that insert there to kind of separate things. Now, originally, I'm pretty sure that the components of this came in paper bags that were marked as, you know, trees, dinosaurs, cavemen, whatever. But I don't have those. Actually, not many of those paper bags like that survive from Marx playsets. I don't have them. I just keep mine in plastic bags. But I'm going to show you the paperwork now. Here is the assembly instructions, such as they are. And basically, it just shows you how to put together the three-piece mountain terrain set. And it includes these plastic clips. You can clip them together if you want to. I never did that. There was no reason to. I have the original sprue with two of the clips on it with this set. But I mean, basically it just sits there, and the rock arch just sits on top of the mountains. Unless you're going to be knocking them around, there's no point in putting the clips on there. But people want them just because they were, you know, part of the original set. This is for the palm trees and the ferns. You know, boy, that's really complicated. Slot in hole, or tab or post in hole, and you got it. And it also came with this cool booklet. It's not really an instruction booklet. It just gives you information about the prehistoric animals that were included and their place in prehistory. This is the enlarged edition. This is 20 pages, and I'll give you a quick run through of this. It just, you know, goes into some history as paleontology understood the facts then. So a lot of this has changed. They're always changing the facts because they don't know. And there's Dimetrodon, Moschops, Sinognathus. Plateosaurus, Allosaurus, Stegosaurus, Brontosaurus, which is still proper as a toy because paleontology thought that it was a Brontosaurus back then. Until they discovered that some wise guy took a Camarasaurus skull and put it on an Apatosaurus skeleton. Suddenly, there was no more Brontosaurus. So, but as far as the toys go, yeah, we got plenty of Brontosauri. Struthiomimus there. There's the timeline, and it just gives a basic idea of when these various animals lived. And of course, there's man, within 1 million years ago. And they tried to keep kids straight about when these things lived and all that. But, as kids, we just wanted to play with cavemen, with the dinosaurs, and have battles and play out our little stories and, have fun with it. So, didn't worry a whole lot about the hard science of it. And there's the Tyrannosaurus. You notice it's not a potbelly T-Rex. Those were phased out by this time. The large mold group with the potbelly T-Rex was not used. That's from the revised mold group. That's called a sleek T-Rex or skinny T-Rex. There's a Parasaurolophus. That's one of the second series animals. And I'll go into all that when I show the components. There's the woolly mammoth. Smilodon megatherium. Okay. So basically, that's it in a nutshell. It's P1311R. That's revised. The original 3398 is considered now one of, if not the most desirable of the prehistoric playsets. It came out in 1961. And, it had the premium pieces and the old plastic with the good detail and the lead-based paint for pigment. And it introduced the second series animals in a playset, and it was a big deal. This one came out 10 years later in 1971, and it's basically the same playset as far as components go, but the plastic was different on the animals and the cavemen. And it's this waxy, shiny stuff, and there's very little variety in color, and not great detail the way it was with the older plastic. And Marx changed his plastic, I think, around 1964 for a lot of this stuff, and came out with that new shiny, waxy heritage, I think is the collector buzzword for it. But anyway, that's the old one is extremely desirable and extremely hard to find. And I'm going to do a video of that later on at some point. But this one is probably the most popular of all the prehistoric playsets. This one you see on eBay quite a bit. And as far as shopping for this stuff on eBay, basically you just have to get it piece by piece, and usually you can find it in lots, eBay lots. A lot of times in auctions, a lot of times buy it now, and they'll have a group of dinosaurs and maybe a palm tree here or there, or cavemen. And sometimes you find a partial set with a box sometimes, and these boxes took such a beating. I mean, you can tell, even new, they had these big freaking staples in them. They shipped the toys in these boxes. These were the decorated boxes and the shipping boxes. And this box here is in amazingly good condition compared to a lot of them you see, that are basically either water damaged or just pieces of boxes or whatever. And as far as prices on eBay go for this stuff, I mean, I haven't shopped for it for a real long time, but a few years ago, and I assume it's probably still the same because there's not a huge demand for this stuff. It's really cool to people of a certain age that grew up with it, but most younger people have never even heard of this stuff and don't really care. But anyway, the prices are still probably about the same. You can get a partial set. It may actually be near complete with an original box, probably really beat up, for the $200 to $300 range. And the reason I'm doing this video, or part of the reason, besides it just being fun to go back through my collection and talk about this stuff, I want to get some of this information out about what a complete set consists of, so that if you do want to, recapture your childhood and put together a complete set, you'll know what pieces you need. Okay, here are all the components of the set. get everything in the shot here. I'm going to go over these. Now, the Marx dinosaurs were sold in mold groups. These 8 in front are the revised mold group. And it's divided up into 2 different colors. There were only 3 different colors. Actually, in this set, they didn't even have the brown except for the cavemen. But in the mountain set, which used these same colors, they added brown for a color, for a little bit of variety. But, you know, it's really uniform. There's no variance in this. There's no marbling like there was in the older pieces. And, you know, for people that grew up playing with this stuff, these kind of dinosaurs, they're perfectly fine because they're used to them. But to people that enjoy the old sets and to most collectors, these newer dinosaurs are inferior to the old ones with the lead-based paint in the plastic mix for pigment. And I'm going to go over these. Here's the Ankylosaurus. You know, still they have great sculpting. I mean, they're made from the same molds. And, you know, I've heard different reasons as to why they switched plastic mixes. Some people thought that the government mandated it because of the lead-based paint. There might be something to that. I don't know. But it could just be something as simple as the new plastic mix was cheaper, or maybe it came out of the molds a little quicker. They made so many of these. The runtime in the factory was a big deal. Just how soon can they get them out of the molds and get them in the boxes so they can, you know, make more of them, make more money, get them out to stores. This is the sleek T-Rex. This is the one that a lot of people remember. It's also known as a skinny T-Rex, and it's more anatomically correct than the potbelly T-Rex, which came before it. And this one was always my favorite, you know, as a kid. But a lot of people prefer the potbelly T-Rex. Here's the Brontosaurus. And see if we can get a shot there. See, it's really faint. That shows up pretty good when it finally focuses, but it's Brontosaurus 70 feet long. In the older type plastic, that was really distinct, you know, and great detail, and everything just looked so much better in the older flat matte finish plastic with the lead paint as color pigment. This is Trachodon. This is a revised version of the Trachodon because the previous one from the medium mold group had problems standing. It was off balance a lot of times. There's a Stegosaurus. And here's a Dimetrodon. And there are some slight differences between like the Dimetrodon in the revised mold group and the Dimetrodon in the medium mold group that came before it. But anyway, that's in Marx's designation, the revised mold group is known as PL 977. And here's the second series mold group. This one was the last mold group they made. It's PL 1083. It includes the mammals as well as some early reptiles and a couple of dinosaurs. 3 dinosaurs, I guess. This is the Moss Chops. He's kind of a favorite, you know. And here's Struthiomimus. Another favorite, Megatherium, giant ground sloth. And woolly mammoth. There are 8 animals in the revised mold group and 8 animals in the second series mold group. This is a Styracosaurus, Smilodon, or saber-toothed cat. We called them saber-toothed tigers back in the day. And that's probably still a common name for them. And Iguanodon, doing the Fonzie thing with the thumbs up. Actually, he had horns for thumbs. He used those in fights. He'd go up under the jaw of big predators, like tyrannosaurs and such, and make a day pretty unpleasant for him. And those are the 8 of the second series. These are the medium mole group, the PL750, I think. This is Hadrosaurus, one of the duckbills. And here's the Trachodon that got revised in the revised mole group because he's kind of off balance. This is the earlier one from the medium mole group. There are 6 animals in the medium mole group. Usually these mole groups were all the same color. They split the colors on the 2 bigger mole groups for this set, the mint green and the light gray. Stegosaurus. There's the Allosaurus from the medium mole group. Tell he's got like one toe that sticks out pretty far. He had a little bit of problem standing up, so that's why probably they ran another one for the revised mole group. Here's the Ankylosaurus, and I don't know why they chose to add another one of this guy for the revised mole group. Maybe it was just easier to copy an existing animal than try to come up with something new. I don't know. By this time, they were cranking them out at Marx. This is a Pteranodon. Well, very stubborn focusing. There we go, kind of. 27-foot wingspan, I believe. And so those 6 make up the medium mole group. That's PL750. And then we have the small mole group. We got Sphenacodon, Cynognathus, or Gnathus perhaps. Trying to show you guys how well these are sculpted, even though this newer plastic didn't capture a lot of the detail that the older plastic did. Plateosaurus, Dimetrodon, another Plateosaurus. You notice these are all the same color. They're the same mold group. They were all run at the same time. Dumped out of the mold to cool, then put in bags and put in boxes. Here's the other Dimetrodon. And here's the Triceratops from the small mold group. The horns are thicker on it. It's actually a better sculpt, I think, than the revised mold group. I don't know why they even put this in the revised mold group. They've been better for it all the way around, really, if they'd have put new animals in there. But anyway, there are 7 animals in that small mold group, and that's PL755. And I'm not going to get these out because they're exactly the same. Basically, this playset has 2 shots of the small mold group. So, you know, that's here we have 8 in the revised mold group, 8 in the second series mold group. That's 16. We got 6 in the medium mold group. That's 22. And we've got 7 in each of the small mold groups. And they had 2 shots of it, so that's 14 in all. So that's 36 dinosaurs. Now we'll take a look at the cavemen. These are always in brown. In the older sets, before they got so uniform, they would have them in two different colors usually. A yellowish cream color, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to get this and force this thing to focus correctly. So you can see the sculpts on these. And even though it's this newer plastic, the sculpts still look good. I mean, it's Marx. They had a high standard of quality. A lot better than MPC and Timmy and those companies. There's a guy walking with the club. Here's the dude with like a stone axe and a knife. And here is the guy with the rock over his head, getting ready to brain something. And here's one of the crouching guys. This one is the guy skinning the rabbit, I guess. Or some kind of, yeah, it's a rabbit. As we wait. I want you to see the detail here, so we'll wait on the camera. The camera is not very accommodating sometimes. That's it. I'm not waiting anymore for that. And here's the other guy crouching, and he's pounding a couple of rocks together. He's probably trying to start a fire, I guess. And so these are the 6 poses of the Marx cavemen. And I'm not going to show you the others because they are exactly the same. Basically, here it is. Here they are in this bag. They gave you 12 cavemen, 2 shots of the caveman mold group. And now I'm going to go pretty quick over this. Here's the palm trees, the trunks. Here's the double trunk. Here's the tall single trunk. Now, all of the sets came with this same assortment of trunks. They weren't mixed up or anything. They came with this. This is a mold group of palm trees. The 2 shots of the small double trunk here. And then we had the basis for the ferns. And they pretty much the same. But you had 4 bases. Okay, back here you have the palm leaves. Here's the big one. It's got a hole there. And you stick that down over any of these posts on top of the tree trunks. And you can mix and match and change these things around as however you want to do it. Here's one of the palm leaves. Again, mold group. These same palm leaves were run as a mold group and all included in the set. There's 7 palm leaves, or sets of leaves. And they vary a little, you know. 3 of them are smaller. There's like 3 medium-sized ones, and you know, that one big one there. And this one is kind of distinctive because it's like layered a little bit. The sculpting on all this is great. With the ferns, you had 2 of the 4-leaf ferns, and you stuck those down in the holes of the bases there. They hold pretty well. I mean, you know, you can kind of throw them around a little bit after you put them in there. There's a 3-leaf fern. There are 2 of the 3-leaf ferns. So basically, those are the pieces. 36 dinosaurs, 12 cavemen, 4 palm trees, 4 ferns. And here's the mountain pieces. This is the rock arch. And you notice I didn't have those clips on anything. Here's the cave. Now, in the original 3398, these were marbled. They were much better looking. These Again, they, just went bland here, but they still look pretty good. And it's painted, they painted some water in that pool there. And there's where you put the clip in to clip the rock arches to that if that's what you want to do. And I've still got one of the sprues. It came with like 4 clips, I guess, in case you lost a couple of them. I've got extra clips around here somewhere. I'm not worried about having all 4 in the set. But this is what the sprue or tree looked like with the clips. They're real easy to use if you wanted to clip the mountains together. So those are the components for the 3398 from 1971. And here's the set all set up. Of course, good thing about a playset, you can set them up however, and kids had a ball with these things back in the day. And anyway, on this channel, I like to set the stuff up at the end of the video so you guys can kind of get a taste of what it looks like all set up. Of course, it's dinosaur dense in this case because there are 36 of them in the set. I mean, it's huge. Probably one reason it was so popular. It just has so many dinosaurs in it and 12 cavemen. And of course, a lot of these got played with outside, and kids, used the natural terrain to spread things out and all that, which was cool. So there we go. That's a pretty close examination of the Marx Prehistoric playset from 1971, the 3398. Hope you guys got something out of that, and I'll see you next time.